All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And as always, we're so happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this evening as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in this Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we continue to do an awesome job of participating and engaging, because that is what this session is all about. So if everybody can hear me loud and clear, let's participate on this Tuesday evening. Tuesday evening. Drop me a 1 in the chat, and we can get this session on its way. All righty. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. We are good to go. I see everybody coming in. Appreciate it. And okay. All right. Got it. All right. So let me exit out of this. Let's go over and take a look at the Forex factory. And before I do that, Ryan, good evening, sir. How are you?
My brother, I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. Super busy day.
Yeah, it definitely was. Definitely was, man.
Indeed, been running. Been running. So here's the thing. It's election night here in these United States, everybody. So whatever we cover tonight, whatever setups, please proceed with caution, right? Which is what we should always do. But we're expecting a lot of tight races, uncertain outcomes in several of these election locations. So let's make sure that we are, again, proceeding with caution as these results come in. They could move the market. So I just want to make sure that we are clear so we can see here all day congressional elections. All right, so let's make sure that we keep our eye out for things to happen price-wise as the results come in overnight and into tomorrow and for however long. So who knows how this is going to pan out. My main thing that I'm focused on this week, as you can see, is pretty light, right? Going through a lot of things going on, pretty light until we get to Thursday, November the 10th, and the CPI number comes out for the United States. So CPI month over month, year over year, and core CPI. We got some unemployment claims there. So this is going to be a very, very important report as it relates to inflation. And this is going to be big because we saw the dollar sell off right back down to that support as investors are starting to hedge their bets in regards to the Fed making a pivot. So once again, we are in a situation where they're thinking the Fed at some point is going to have to pivot in the near term. And even though Chairman Powell hinted at it, I don't know. It was mixed messaging coming out of the last meeting. Ryan, what do you think?
My bad. Couldn't find the mute button. There was mixed messaging, but the thing that's still been consistent is they got to see it and they want it to be sustained. So
Yep.
With that being said, I don't, and I guess it's what do you consider sustained, right? But to me, it's more than 1 month. In my opinion,
Me too.
My opinion don't matter, but you know what I mean? Multiple months of decreases or declines or slowdowns that then could, but we haven't even seen 1 full month of slowdown. Mm-hmm. So I don't. My opinion is I don't think they're close.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with you. So I'm just gonna sit back and get my popcorn ready on on Thursday and watch these fireworks because it's a lot of whipping around. They keep trying to press the issue, but like we always say, don't bet against the Fed. We didn't create that slogan. That's been around forever. And I know now, you know, in my trading career, exactly why people say that. Because the emotions are going back and forth so much, but I'm just going to continue to roll with the Fed. So it's caused another correction. And then we look at the US dollar, we are right back at this level. The back and forth. Like, this is amazing to me. Right. So we're in this range, we're right back at support. So when you look at something like the dollar yen, right? We posted a setup, Euro USD, we posted a setup. If it gains momentum right off that support, we should see those setups play out. But everything's a wild card with the elections tonight, so we'll continue to wait and see. If we go over to trading economics, we can say U.S. stocks rise on midterms. That can go the other way just as fast. So I don't put too much into that. Crude oil inventories unexpectedly rise in the United States. Japan current surplus. I think Japan did, right? They just approved stimulus, I believe. I have to read up more on it, but I did see that in one of the headlines I was reading earlier today. So that's going to pretty much, if that's true, what I saw, that's going to enable them to keep those ultra low interest rates going. They're going to hold steadfast to their monetary policy and kind of support, you know, do what they have to do to support their economy. And I think, right, you have to watch out during these elections, because sometimes you can see those safe havens gain a little strength. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens overnight. So I'm gonna leave it there for fundamentals, because everything is gonna hinge on these elections. So any questions regarding any of the fundamentals?
What is the thought around the political parties when it comes to the fundamentals? Like, if Republicans win, then in terms of the market, any sort of readings about, you know, which way the market could potentially go depending on what party takes over?
Yeah, I have no idea. I do plan to read some articles about it, but here's the thing. I know when Donald Trump got elected, and it was a big upset with Hillary Clinton, right? Donald Trump's a big capitalist, right? Big businessman. The stock market just went straight down.
Mm-hmm.
And then it recovered from there, and that was the reaction, right? And the thought was that, hey, because he was a wild card at that point in time, even though you know, he is big time businessman, things like that. But there was a lot of uncertainty around his exact policy, because throughout the campaign there wasn't anything really, right? So
Right.
besides you know, potential huge tax cuts, which he did as soon as he came into the office, right? But it initially failed, and again, the thought was uncertainty with Donald Trump coming into politics, coming into office, whereas investors kind of knew what they were going to get with Hillary Clinton, whether they agreed or disagreed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it caused a sharp reaction to the market, but like I said, then it recovered. So I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of tight races, a lot of uncertainty. You know, it's hard because if Republicans come through big, you look at possible gridlock for the next 2 years,
Right.
right?
Right.
You know, where they can't come to an agreement on anything. Who knows what that'll do in regards to policy, you know, positions that can you know, either help or hinder inflation. Who knows? Who knows what happens there? So I do not have an answer on that. So I'm just going to sit back and watch the aftermath with a lot of this uncertainty. Once I start seeing the dollar bounce around like it's doing in this range, right? That really put me on some of the lower time frames, moving in and out of trades, because there's a lot of gridlock in a lot of the higher time frames, a lot of bouncing back and forth. Eventually it'll break, right? And the sequence will play out on some of the higher time frame, the larger swings. But right now, when the dollar, you know, is the reserve currency, when it's moving like this, that can cause the entire market to get whipped around. So I've been more so playing a lot of the lower time frame charts, you know, catching pips on those levels and then getting out. So, but eventually it'll break loose. Will these elections be the catalyst for it? Don't know, right? Will the CPI on Thursday be the? I'm looking more so towards that CPI because of you see the dollar sold off again, right? Because of that idea that the Fed may pivot soon. So it's gonna be interesting. This level here has held pretty for quite some time now. So we'll see. We shall see. You're welcome. Great question. Anybody else? No.
No, sir.
All right. So let's jump into some pairs. There were a lot. I don't know, Ryan, you covered the pound pairs this morning. Those are great plays, by the way, man. Great plays.
I appreciate it, bro.
So, yeah, those are some big moves. But what I'm gonna take a look at is I want to look at these Aussies to start out, and then we'll jump into the Euros because I want everybody to see because we didn't catch them. Super busy when we weren't able to post them. But just so you can get an idea on the price action, especially on those lower time frame setups, because I know those lower time frames are new to a lot of people, right? And exactly how to go about it. So I want to take a look at those first. So I want to look at this Aussie CAD play, right, on your 5, but I'll go into the 4, and you can see how this is just dancing around, right? But you can see how this impulse move here. To the upside, we've got a new high here on the 4. Okay. There. All right, you've got a resistance there, 87.74. Like so. Okay. And when you take these down, so we know what the larger move is, okay, and how we've been playing that overall. We've got a 382 bounce, price pull back, and it's found resistance at this level, and we're hovering below, right, at 87.73. But you can come down, right, and you can look at the 1 hour, okay, your smaller wave, and how that pullback to that 61.8 zone up against 88.33 daily resistance. So ultimately, we're looking down, right, still on that Aussie CAD for right now. But if you come down to the 5, right, that's where you can find those smaller plays. So here, when you zoom in, here was a swing. A was taken out. Okay, here's my A. Right. Here's my B. Like so. Right. So we all can see that now. And we know that it's like our reset point. And you can see the swing here. It took out the A. Okay. And then we pushed up, took out the A. So there was a beautiful swing there. And now we came right back to a new AB boundary, and it just collapsed straight to 382. Okay. Just like that. Look at that swing. So this is how the game goes. Okay. So that's 38.2, right? We make it to that 61.8. We shall see. So that's the Aussie CAD. So that's how you take a look, right? Higher time frame, these impulse legs. And then you can come right down to your lower time frames and you can find those, right? You can kind of zoom in on those reversal points and decide whether you want to make the play or not. Okay, so that's how we identify those, and we're able to post them in Telegram. So that's the Aussie CAD. Now, if it's time for the Aussie CAD to continue, right, is downward momentum, right, then it's just going to keep going, right, to the downside. So you're already in position. Okay, here's a daily support level there. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay, so for our newer members, right, if our blue lines here are our take profit levels, okay, so TP1 38.2, 61.8, TP2, and then if it gets back down to your A boundary, that's a TP3, and then we look forward to potentially take out the A and then turn over. Okay, then we look to play the game all over again. So that's the Aussie CAD on the 5-minute. Any questions on that?
No, that was a clean move, man.
It was right away off that B boundary. It was a fast one, quick one. You know, Aussie cat, not a big time mover, but you know, for intraday trades, pretty good one there. Okay, so that's that, and take a look at the Aussie Swiss. You got another one, right? That came in right at on the 5 minute, right at that 118, and it just pushed down. Okay, AV boundary, shallow retracement, less than 38%, pushed up to the 118 zone, 18 zone stall, came right back down 382.61. Okay, so if we zoom out and we look at the bigger picture, see how on your weekly, just look at the ebbs and flows of the market. Okay, look how we broke, right? Smashed down through this level, and then we pulled back. Okay, if we had that drawn up for quite some time, you can see the reaction is coming back to retest. Past support becoming future resistance there. Okay, and oftentimes you will get a reaction. If we come down to the daily, you can see where it's stalling at, right at that 382. Okay, so it's the same thing no matter what the time frame. No matter what the time frame, AB boundary, look at the correction up to the 382, and now it's moving, it's pushing a little sideways there, right? A little range bound, tight consolidation, but you get a reaction on your lower time frames. See where we are? Look at that. Okay, it's your larger swing, right? Larger swing potential there. But look how we can move all the way down through the charts, right? And find these moves. Okay, so off that 118, okay, level, yeah, there's 30 pips there on a 5 minute and 40, about 40 pips down to the TP2. Okay. Okay. So you could do, depending on how granular you want to get. All right. So if we link that there, okay. Depends on what type of trader you are. We like to think that we have something for everybody. So that's your 5. We run a 1 minute chart. We come here, right? Zoom out a little bit. Go back and find that high, right? So there was your reversal. So if you put something like that cloud on, okay, boom. You can see the clean move off that level. Okay. There. There was your cloud break and you move down. All right. So you follow your cloud rules. If that's what you want to do, right? So you can look at it from the 5, right, with your cloud. Okay. Okay. And you can see you got your break. Now it continued to push down, okay, but you see how we've got the mark up here on the 5 minute, but you see how it's right at this 382 when it broke the cloud. Okay, so you're a little late. So that's why I always like to kind of drop down the time frame for a little bit of an earlier entry when using the cloud. Okay, because the cloud isn't for, right, you know, on that live time frame, like right here on the 5. Okay, it's designed for it to break that cloud and for that directional change. So it's not like the earliest entry, right? I guess you can catch that at the crossover, right? If you like playing that crossover above the cloud, but dropping down the time frame, whether it be the 4 to the 1 or 1 to the 15, whatever, kind of puts you in position. Once you identify the potential U-turn point using the fibs and the zones, those sweet spots that we like to trade, right? You can kind of drop down to wait for that cloud break. All right, straight down on that. Any questions?
No.
No. All right. So I mean, if you look at this, right, if you look at your daily encapsulation, right, and where that happened. Okay. So when you frame it out and you wait, it doesn't move as fast as you might think, even though it's a 1 minute chart. It's not as fast as you may think it is. It's quite interesting. So that's it. That's the Aussie Swiss. So that's if you like earlier entries, like playing on the lower time frames, that was a really good move. There's a good example of how that can play out. Drop me a 1 if you were able to download and read the newsletter that we put out this week. Okay, cool, right? So you'll see there, right in there, we put the PDF in there for the rules, right? The diagrams and the slides for the Ichimoku Cloud. Okay, so if you had a chance to read it, download it, make sure you check it out. We also put in there the trading sweet spots, okay, for you to have for your records. All right. Okay, so that's that Aussie Swiss. And take a look at this Aussie yen. Not much going on the Aussie yen, everybody. Just kind of waiting on it to make a decision. Right? It's been choppy. We see ultimately against the yen is moving up, but we're kind of stuck in a range here. Okay, so if you move down to the time frames, you just really just zoom in on the range. It needs to break out for me in order to do something with it. Not getting much right now. Awesome. You're welcome, Kim. You're welcome. So if you come to the 4, right, I just need something to happen, right? I need to break above or below, right? Below 90, 94.19, right? There we got a clear path for some price action, but it's just whipping. I don't even have a fib on it. All right, just waiting for a breakout. It's been like that for quite some time. If we come down to the 1, you can see just not a lot doing there. I guess that's a smaller play off of resistance. All right, somebody want to take that back to support, but this is what it's looking like on the 5. Let's see. Okay. Had a little gap, right? Market open with a gap. It filled that gap and then it pressed right back down. So that's a range play, not too much. I guess that's a large range, almost 100 pip range. I didn't even realize it was that big, but see if price can push back down to support and make a decision from there. Any questions on the Aussie yen?
Benny, just a quick one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the gap between the open of the market, as you said before, what is the cause of that?
What, the gap right here? Just price action, bank movement. While the wire's closed for us, so when it opens for us, it reflects a gap, right? So kind of like when you see it in stocks all the time, where it opens up. If you look at a stock chart, sometimes you'll see a bunch of gaps in there for like after hours. Sometimes, you hear like, well, Amazon reported, earnings after hours, and it'll be a gap, right? So you got bank movement, right? Because they have access to that. We don't. So
Okay.
so you'll have that gap action there. Now, oftentimes it'll move, price action will move to close that gap, right? Sometimes people like to trade gaps. I don't, because most of the time it happens, but sometimes you'll get in it and it'll take forever. I mean, sometimes, especially if it's a larger gap from a higher time frame that's blatant, it can take forever for that gap to fill. So I kind of, if it's within my normal, sweet spots that I'm trading, I'm looking at going in that direction, then yes, but I never just try to trade to fill a gap. So like market open, take a buy position and try to fill that gap, because you never know if it's going to happen or not. You just don't. So I tend to stay away from that in my trade plan. I don't trade gaps, but that's why.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Aussie NZD, been keeping an eye on this setup on the 1. It's kind of dancing around because that's just a clean 80-20 there. It's choppy. It's the Aussie New Zealand. What else is new? But it is in a sweet spot. So I've got a position on that. It's just been bouncing around. So I'm gonna let it see if it plays out. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for. That's the setup on the 1 hour for the Aussie New Zealand. See if we can eventually get that 382 back up to that 109.87 first and foremost. But it's just doing the dance, not doing too much of nothing. But risk management is good. Sit there and see what happens. right? On the Aussie New Zealand, coming to the 4, that's your 4-hour look there. Okay. That was the previous move, down AB boundary, swing, just missed that 382. But this is where we are now on the 4. Okay, so just a bunch of choppiness, a lot of consolidation, not much, nothing there on the lower time frames. Okay, just an AB boundary, just zooming in on just a choppy mess. So it's kind of whipping around everywhere. So I'm gonna let it play out. Any questions on the Aussie NZD?
No.
Okay. Good deal. Aussie dollar. Okay. Let's take a look at it. All right. So you see, right? Lower lows, lower highs, right? So we got a correction going on now. So that's actually a support. Bang. Okay. And we're getting that reaction. Now we saw on the DXY that the dollar sold right back down to support. So we shall see what happens as we move forward through the rest of the week in regards to which direction the dollar wants to move. Possible to predict. I just know it's at support from a technical perspective. There. Okay. So we form that low and we're getting that push up. And if we come to the daily, zoom out, right? Same trade plan intact. Okay. Got an 8.6 retracement. We expect a 1.18D extension. It's closing in on it, right? We got a reaction off this this weekly support at 61.69, and we're back above 64.39. But with the dollar being in support, right, not ready to call right a higher push just yet on that. So we'll see how it plays out. Here we are, is just doing the dance, right, in the zone on the 4. All right, lower lows and lower highs. We're at a 61.8 now. Okay. Stops above the A. That's where we're at. Okay, so still, if we come here, here was your day trade. Okay, AB boundary pushed to the 118, right? We just saw one that was similar to that. It's amazing how these pairs kind of flow together, right? AB boundary, 118 zone, boom, back down to a 382. Okay, so right out of that play, 65 pips or so to the 382. Now we're kind of just hovering, right? A little double bottom action there. I'm good on that. Won't touch it, right? With everything that's going on this evening. Okay, so see how that plays out. But that's where we are at target 1 on that 5-minute play is hit, just like that. Okay, not bad for 5-minute charts, right? 65 pips or so, pretty good. I think we had a question. Did we have a question? Thought I saw something flash up. Cassandra.
Yeah, I just had a comment. I got stopped out of this one today. This was, I had entered the trade back on October the 26th. It had moved down to my 1-to-1, so I had moved my stop.
Okay.
And I was able to get 174 pips out of it total, though, so not bad.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Great trade management, right? Because you were in off that short, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Way to manage the trade, right? There's always uncertainties in the market, but you were able to lock in some profit.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really good. It's really good, right? And sometimes I think people, there's people who don't catch 174 pips in a month, right? We have to keep in mind most people lose money in this game, so that's huge, right? That's huge. That's a big deal. Dropping you those 7s, right? Those 7s in the chat. Great job. Great job. 80-20 on the 4. Yep, right here. That was that initial swing up. Okay, so that's why we have it labeled there. See, AB boundary. And we looked for price to correct, but we didn't get it, right? To the 382 before it broke. See how I made that really shallow retracement, held underneath that 236, and then it pushed down, and then look at it fire off. Okay. Okay. So Cassandra played the trend, hit her sweet spot at the 61.8. It got short, right? It got short. So she was able to catch 174 pips of that, right? So that's great. Now it's just bouncing around, right? It returned, moved back up a little bit higher, but that's okay. That's okay. That's the way the market goes. Great job managing your trade. Great job. All right. All right. So that's that
Question?
there. Yes.
Sorry, can you please place the fib on a buy zone on the 4-hour chart?
Yeah. Yeah. You mean to the upside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So you see how I was coming into that extension?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So here was that swing, right? Off the one, the counter move, right? So that's why we had the TPs marked on the one here. That's the 4-hour fib, and there's your swing. Okay. All right. So it's whipping around, right? We see the DXY whipping around in the range. You get this type of price action. It's all right. That's all right. So that's that. But then again, there it is, right? For your intraday trade, AB boundary, 80-20 zone, back down, boom. Okay. So again, right? If you, all right, come here, look at your 5. Here's our zone. Okay. We identify. All right. Boom. Make it down. All right. Zooming out. That. See? There you go. All right. All right. Good stuff, everybody. So that's the Aussie dollar. Okay. A lot of ways to skin a cat. Okay. All right. So I'm going to jump into these Euro pairs and take a look at this Euro Aussie first. Okay. So the Euro is right. Bullish, right? If we go to our, right, it's making a strong push to the upside. If you go to our investing.com, take a look at our technical summary, real time, you can see, look across the board pretty much, right? Euros have gotten bullish. All right. So take a look at the Euro Aussie and we can see, okay, so we've drawn this up a long time ago. We identified that double bottom and we've been getting a nice push to the upside. Okay. Moving a little sideways now, but that's been a good drive off that monthly support at 143. All right. So here, okay, it's over 1,000 pips to the upside. You zoom in, you can see the move, just clean. Look at the, right, the breaks and the retest. Right, as the price action moves up. Look, you see it? Here, see it? Bang, rejection, back down. Stochastics in the buy zone. Okay, so we slowed the momentum is slow to the downside. Now let's see if this support hold past resistance becoming future support, right? Maybe back up to 157.06. We shall see. But here we are, right, in this zone. Now on your 4, this up move, we got almost a 50% retracement, not quite, but you can see how we've jumped up in this range. Okay, now with the Euro Aussie, it's a pretty big mover, so it's a pretty sizable range. Okay, there, it's 439 pips. So we'll see if we can get that price action to move back long, back to that level. All right, 157.06, and you can see how on your 4, that's actually your D extension. It almost got there. It came up just short. So we'll see if it wants to revisit that. On your 1, okay, you can see. Okay. Now, when you play these ranges, okay, bottom to top, top to bottom. Okay. You could come down and you could try to catch a wave, right? If you want to use the fib, you didn't just catch that swing low off the bottom. You could try to catch a momentum, you see? Right? Everything moves in waves. Look at that. Beautiful morning star right there at your 61.8. Okay. Everybody see that? Candlesticks, right? Sign language of the Forex market. Any market, really. Okay. Tells you a story, right? So that's a classic Morningstar pattern right there. And now you've got the reversal. So we'll see if we can move, right? Here's your D extension, then back up to that 157.06. Okay. So that's where we are. Okay. That's where we are. Okay. And you can even see how, even off of this wave, right? Being able to identify that price action pattern is key. So you see how it reversed off the B boundary, got to this 236 area, broke that B boundary, pushed up. See how it came back down into the zone, right, for that swing. Okay. That occurs quite often. All right, that's why we like to trade it. We zoom in here on the 5, and you can see where we've got this price action moving. Okay, to the upside. Okay, just zooming in on what we've already seen, what we already saw on the higher time frame. Okay, any questions on that Euro Aussie? It's moved quite a bit. All right, repetition, everybody, mother of all skill. All right, get individual reps. Then we do the work. Okay, look at the swing, right, that we've gotten. Slight break of that B boundary. It settled in at monthly support at 128.69. Then we've pushed up into the zone. See how we're finding this support? Okay, in this range, bouncing around a bit. Right, but there's things that you just start to identify. Right, you see that there? Okay, see the zone has resistance becoming future support. You see how that double bottom there? Look at those pin bars. Right, moving straight up to that 135.67 level. Here's the swing. See how you zoom in on the lower time frames? Okay. Right. 80-20 zone. Went deeper. Didn't quite get to that D. Right. Didn't take it out. Almost did. Then we got the trend line break. Okay. There's a zoomed in view of that double bottom at that level. Okay. So let's see if we can continue to move up through this zone. Okay. Up through this zone here. All right. So we look for, this is going to continue bullish now. Okay. So we're still within this down AB boundary, but this euro has got some pretty good momentum. So what we look for now is, do we get breaks and continuations? Okay. This is where your support and resistance comes in for potential plays, right? Do we get a break and a hold at support and then a continuation up from there on that? Okay. If we come to the 1, you can see it right here. Okay. There. Okay. This is the overall move here. Okay. And so we see, can we get that break? 135.67. If we pull back and we hold support there, there's a potential play there to the extension, right back up to the highs here. That weekly high that's sitting just beyond that, you got an extension here too. Okay, 1.618 extension. So if you get a break here and a pullback and it holds, then there's a possible smaller play there. Okay. This play is all over the chart, right? So we had an 80-20 identified before I cleaned the charts up, and it played out. So on this move back down, right? So when we got this initial move off of this daily support, and we came up shy of that 1.618 off this initial impulse move to the upside, look at what happens as a result. When you identify, hey, there's a double bottom showing up here. Look, bang. See that there? AB boundary. Shallow retracement, B boundary broken. Look where that price settled in and reacted. So you got great confluence there. Okay, great confluence. So we've identified a double bottom here. Okay, fibs to the downside, sub fibs, AB boundary, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, monster reaction, right? So that moves looks like this. Okay. TP1, TP2, if it's going to continue up, it's going to take that A out, which falls right in line with that upward swing that we're looking at anyway. Okay. It's amazing how that plays out. Okay. So if we go down, we take a look at this now, this price action now, you can see where these fibs are running for the swing. Okay. But even on your 5, look, new AB boundary, price collapsed. Okay, all types of intraday moves there. All right, here is that move to the downside on your 5. See the swing? AB boundary, swing, boom. Took out the A. Run our fibs the other way. You can see the smaller moves setting up here. Boom, boom. Here's a continuation with the trend, right? Okay. So that's why you see us post stuff in the Telegram. We say, hey, you got 2 options. Okay. Counter trend or with the trend. This is what we're talking about. Then it's just a matter of mapping up to sweet spots. If I like trading with the trend, here's my buy zone. Okay. There. So this 5-minute chart falls right in line with what we're seeing on the higher time frames. Back up to this 135.67. We break that, we hit the D extension. Okay. So even on the 5, the C to D move off that 61.8 zone, okay, is 100 pips. Right? B boundary to your 382, 35, 55, and then there's your swing. Okay, so there's always multiple options on this. Okay. Stop below the A or the C. You put it below the A. You look at that 61.8 play, like so. All right, 61.8, boom. And if we get price to climb to our D extension, there's your play. Right around here, like that. Okay. That's why we love using the fibs to frame the market out. Okay. Bang. Here. 41. The extension. 109. All right, we'll take that. Questions?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. Repetition, 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 everybody. Okay. So things become slow motion for you. Let's compress those time frames. Okay. Top down analysis weekly. Look at that reaction off the lows. Back above 98.65. Okay. We're coming to the daily on this Euro Swissy. What do we have, everybody? What do we have? We've got an AB boundary, shallow retracement, less than a 382. We got a break of the B boundary right into that 118, 127 zone, and we've got a swing. It's 500 pips. Okay. 500 pips. We're making waves. We're making waves. Right. So you can see, look, here's my down ABCDs because the market, right, on the way down, it's going to make down ABCDs. Then when it's time for it to reverse off that low, it's going to make up ABCDs. We took out the A. Okay. See that? If it doesn't take out the A, it has no choice but to go your way. Here was our A. It took out the A. So it's not going to continue to the downside. It reversed. Right? It wants to move higher. And now, see how we're in this 118, 127 zone? Off the 4. We haven't gotten a 382, but we're in a range. Right? So we have to train our eyes to see that. So we're in a range. So we're either going to get to the top of this move, okay? And it's going to continue to range and move it back down. And we'll be stuck there until we get a breakout of that range, okay? So it's 86 pips, Euro Swiss, okay? Or it's going to break out. If it breaks out and hits the D, that's fine. That means, hey, that's that 20% of the time where we didn't get that correction, and that's A-okay. But it'll reset. We'll get a new AB boundary. We play the game all over again. Here we are on the 1, the smaller wave. See how we got the deeper correction here? 61.8 zone. Here, we're moving back to the top. Okay. So we'll see which one wins out. Here on the 1, because we already got that correction, that leads me to think, you know what, the momentum might take this through here, right? And we may continue to move up. So what we watch for is that if we get a break, see if we can get a retest and maybe it'll carry through. Okay. So that's a wait and see. Okay. If you didn't catch that swing, then you just wait and see, right? If you can make a play. All right. But I wouldn't jump that now for the long. Wouldn't jump it now. Even here on your 5. Right? It's dancing around. Okay. Nothing there. So we just wait to see how things play out. See if we can get that break of resistance and a retest potentially at that level. Okay. There it is right there. Got a little ways to go. Let's see what happens. We got a 382 pullback on that. Right. We shall see. But that's it on the Euro Swissy. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. She needs to in time, right? In time, right? So you could catch, you know, pips by playing the longer swings, or you can play it on the 5, right? You'd be amazed at how many pips you can catch in a week just on 5-minute setups too. 5-minute, 15, whatever. We were playing a lot of 5-minute setups lately. Those have been the favorable setups. So you will get there. You will definitely get there. You keep showing up for yourself, as Ryan always says, you will get there. Euro GBP, right? Here we are. Okay. Initially, we got that reaction off the 61.8, then it pushed down on us, moving sideways a bit. But right now, we're just shy, right, of that 786. So long-term swing, we didn't get that 786, so I projected 61.8 to a 1.618 over the long term. This is a slow mover, okay? But right now, the euro has been pretty bullish. So we've had this set up for a while. And you can see, right, that's our daily fib brought down to the 4. And we can see that we've got a break of the trend line into the buy zone. Now, I want to see it move up a little bit more to the 89, 79 level, right, to get long. But some people may be involved in this already, and you will be okay. You will be in profit if you took it off that break. But the Euro GBP tends to dance around a lot for me. So I would just like one of these pairs to establish greater supremacy. All right. So maybe this is time for it to move. We shall see, but I'm going to be patient with this one. Here it is on the 1. Okay. That's the 1, just dancing around. It's a choppy pair, which makes sense. It's the euro versus the pound. But you can see while I was doing all that dancing around, okay, this is the previous move down, okay, hit. Now look, we eliminate that. Down move, shallow retracement, less than a 382. Look at the swing, bang, okay. So even off your Euro GBP out of that zone, right? 40 pip move on the 5-minute chart. All right. So we'll see which way it wants to go. Me, in regards to this kind of play on the 5 is fine, cool, in and out. But as far as that longer term swing, I want to see some more price action to the upside and for it to break through that daily resistance level for me to get long on it. I'm willing to wait on that. Willing to wait on that. So that's the Euro GBP. Any questions on that?
No, sir. I'm with you on waiting. I took that move to the 382 and I shut it down. So
Yeah, me too, man. I'm good right now in the Euro GDP. I'm gonna let it do its thing. I'm gonna let it do its thing. So that's that. Let's take a look at this Euro yen. Okay. And overall, right, we know yen crosses have been long. This is holding up all that 145.55. Okay, like that. Right. Kind of doing a dance. I'm just looking at the raw price action on these yen crosses. All right. So we're above it. Okay, we come to the daily, and we do have a new AB boundary, and we're kind of just dancing around. We're in the buy zone though. Okay, we're in the buy zone. We've got a low. We've got a low here. Right. We got a new swing low of support. I am going to take this lower one here. I'm going to link that down. Okay. Now we do understand support and resistance is not just a line, it's actually a zone, right? So that puts us in the same zone. So I'm going to take that and got resistance there. Mark this here. Okay. And I want to identify that because this resistance level is actually our daily B boundary. Okay. So it needs to make its mind up. Again, stochastic is in the buy zone on this one. So we may see some more momentum to the upside. But I mean, look, right? We zoom out. You can see how choppy this is right now. Okay. Look, 382. Okay, came into the same zone, and we got a reaction there. So now we're pushing up. See how we're getting close to that D extension? So there's nothing here for me on this. All right, didn't play this move here. Didn't play it at all. But I'll wait, right, for the next opportunity on that. I don't want to play around with it when it's that close to our D extension. It's been a beautiful move to the upside, right? For anybody that might have taken it, identified that, I didn't. But that's where we are. Okay. Then if we come down to the 5, okay, it's just dancing around on us, right? But you get the same type of price action. Look at that 50. Okay. So it's probably going to continue up, as we know, right? If we look at that 4, where's that extension? We'll move that down to the 5. Okay. There it is there. So if your lower time frames, right? D extension resistance at 147, 148, and then there's that 4-hour D. So we may see a continuation to the upside. I mean, I would say yes. That's a go off the lower time frame, but I don't know with the election. I don't know how the safe havens are going to be played with the results. So I'm gonna sit on the sidelines on this one, but that's a potential. That's a potential move there. All right. Just going along with that bullish momentum, right? Euros across the board, bullish. Okay. Bullish right now. Questions on that? It's a good move out of that zone, though. I will say that.
no questions here, bro.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the Euro NZD. Woo, right? Beautiful play. Okay. Beautiful play. But now we're holding. We got a new swing low here. Okay. That new swing low there at that level. Bouncing around a bit. Maybe back up to this 170. Okay. Stochastic. It's amazing how they align, right? Just about across the board of euros on the daily in the buy zone. So we may see a continued momentum. Is this a resistance? Nope. So maybe continued momentum back up to 170. But you are getting a reaction here, though. All right. So maybe we retest that 170. Took a while for it to break. Makes sense for price to retest it as resistance. But we don't have a daily 382. So maybe eventually a continuation down. So what does that look like here? Okay. Here's that down move. And here's this move off support. There's that swing. Okay. Not playing it right now. Okay. But I could definitely see a retest of that 170 potentially there. But that level is holding. Okay. So back over 100 pips back to that level. Okay. Here's the play. Had it marked up, didn't pull the trigger on it though. All right. So there it is off that support. It's choppy, but you can see it's following the sequence. All right. We got a 50% pullback just out of the buy zone. Right. Decision, bearish, indecision, decision. Okay. Nice swing there. Right. The extension potentially back to that resistance at 170 on that. All right. So that's how you can play, right? That's why we always mark top down. We do top down analysis and we mark those higher time frame support and resistance levels, right? A lot of historical data in those levels. The higher you move on the time frame, and you can see how we're getting priced to react. Okay. So those are smaller plays that you can find off of that price action. Okay. All right. So look, move down. Right. It's just been dancing. Right. This has been running for a while on the Euro NZD. So look, 80-20, boom, back up to the 382, 61.8. And now it's doing this thing. It's probably going to take that A out eventually and continue to move. All right. So nice intraday setups there. All right. Cool. All right. So let's blaze on down to the Euro USD and take a look at that. That's the 1 hour setup, right? That we posted. It's dancing around the zone right there at parity. Okay. Right at parity, but on the one, you got a 1 hour, right? 80-20. Okay. So we'll see how price reacts at that zone. Overall, we know, right, that we've been moving down for a long time. We've got corrective action. Okay. So look, see how it's ranging? And it's ranging to the upside. And you come and you look at your dollar index, okay, and we're ranging to the downside. Okay. Dollar index heavily weighted by the euro. Okay, I didn't look at this on the dollar index, but we do have a new AV boundary on the weekly. Right. So I am quite interested to see how this plays out. If this support is finally going to be broken, it's pushing. Let's see though. Let's see what happens. All right, that's a 4 hour on that US dollar. All right, so let's get back to this Euro USD. Okay. Correcting right now, stochastic on the daily is in the buy zone. Okay, so we're moving up. You can see where we've danced around this 4 hour fib forever. Right? DXY is choppy, so is this Euro USD. But here's the zone where we're at. We're at a 61.8, and we're in a zone where we have now double topped at that level. Okay? So we'll continue to watch to see what happens with that. I can't call it, right? A lot going on with the elections and everything. CPI on Thursday, but this is where we are on the Euro USD. And on the 1 hour chart, this is that impulse leg that just brought you to that double top. See, you guys remember this move here? That was a wicked 80-20. AB boundary, shallow retracement, less than a 382. Okay. So originally, this move to the downside was like this. Here's the swing. Boom. TP1, TP2, almost got TP3 reversed out. Right back up to the top. So now, right, we just adjust new AB boundary, 80-20 zone, 382, 61.8, and we'll throw the TP3 in there at that A boundary. Okay, like so. Boom. So there's the setup. So let's see what happens. See what happens on that. All right, clear this thing out. All right, this is what it looks like on your 5. All right, so it's even starting to set up on the 5. Okay. That's that. All right, you're using the cloud. You know where you are. Okay. Here's your 1 minute. That's what we look like right now. So you're looking at cloud confirmations, not there yet. All right. Chico span above price. You got your tickets and your Akitas and riding nice and tight. Right below price, you got a bullish cloud. So just be patient. Okay. Question. I saw somebody's hand go up.
That was mine. On this one, I'm in a little bit of drawdown. I'm still in this one also from October 27th. I took it
Okay.
by way of that initial pullback to the 61.8. But my stop is above the A, so I'm gonna hang in there, especially now that it's making that double top, and see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. You got your risk management figured out from your stop being above the A.
Right.
You're trading small. See how it plays out. Right. Just know, hey, anything can happen with this Euro USD with the elections.
Right.
And CPI on Thursday. Right. So that's what we got to pay attention to on that. Okay. Critical time for the dollar. Critical time. So we shall see. All right, but that's where we are. That's where we are. That moved down quite a ways. Right. Wow, what is that? Over 300 pips.
Yeah, but that wasn't, it wasn't, it didn't get close enough to my 1-to-1. That's where I normally will move my stop once I hit my 1-to-1.
Oh yeah, so it just rocked back on you too. It was pretty explosive too, right?
Right.
To the upside. Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. Just note it, journal it. What happened here, right?
Right.
What happened here? Is there anything that I could have done? If not, hey, the trade plan is the trade plan, right? Okay. Maybe when I get maybe you think, okay, maybe like you're to 1-to-1. So maybe you think like with a move this big, is right, that's a large 1-to-1. So it moved down over 300 pips. So maybe and it depends on your account and what you're trading at, right? So if you're trading at a micro, right, couldn't happen.
Right.
So you're trading at 2 micros or 1 mini lot or 2 mini lots or whatever, then maybe when I get down and it gets up 300 pips, maybe I'm looking at taking half my position off, and making some adjustments from there. So at least I've closed out some profit. But if you're trading at 1 micro on a long swing, then it is what it is, right?
Right.
So that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. One trade at a time. Good job though, because you're identifying those sweet spots and you're playing them really well. All right. So that's where we are on the Euro USD. And that is trying to hold on, guys. I'm looking through my notes. I'll take a look at this USD JPY that we plugged in to the Telegram on the 5-minute. See what that's doing. All right, so got some momentum, but it's kind of just hovering around. All right, so we've got a daily support there. Okay, we've got a daily support there. We've broken that beat boundary. We're coming right down into that zone. All right, so this is one. Keep your eye on, knowing it's a dollar pair, knowing what's going on this evening. All right, it's down to that 118, 127 zone now. So we here on the 5. All right, just pushing sideways, nothing really doing, but we are in a critical zone for it. So we'll see if it holds a daily support. Maybe we get a push up off of that. So keep that one on your radar tonight. As we see what happens. All right. Any questions on anything that we covered tonight, everybody?
Benny, a quick question on the TP levels. Just a clarification, really. For example, when you set your TP1, TP2, TP3, you are in a trade, and price hit your TP1. Do you usually initially set your TP at the highest price, or the lowest price, for example, the TP1? I don't
The
know if,
TP1?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. That's a great question. So, most of the time I'm looking at TP1. I'll set it for TP1. And then if I can keep an eye on it, if it approaches it and I determine, hey, I think this has got some more upside momentum to it, then I'll make the adjustment. I'll go on my phone and make the adjustment, maybe take, half my position off and then let the rush run the TP2 and move stops to break even. Right. Another way you could do it, some people do it, is they put in two positions. So say we're at this 118, 127 zone. They'll just split their positions in half from the gate, right? If they're allowed to, depending on your broker, right? So they'll take, say you were trading at 1 mini lot, and you said, okay, well, I'll split that, cut that in half at 50 cents, or 250-cent orders, right? So 5 micro lots a piece. So they'll launch it at this level, and then they'll just put different TPs. So first order TP1, second order they put it in and try to let it run a TP2. Right. But when if you've got 2 orders in, so here, you come here, you put in, there's a few different ways you can go about it. You just have to experiment with it, see what you like. So if you get in these positions here, boom, boom, put them in, okay? Initial stop loss is going to be the same on both orders. But for my first order, I'm going to put the TP1 at 146.30. The second order, I'm going to put the TP2 at 146.77. So I'm taking what I would traditionally have as one position, I'm splitting it. All right. So say I was going to trade it at 20 cents, right? I'll just put 2 orders in at 1 micro lot a piece. Same stops, different TP levels, let it run. But when that first order hits TP1, that'll then prompt me to move that second order, that stop loss that I have, I'll move it to TP2, to break even, or even in profit on that second order, because then it's a risk-free trade for me to see if it can get to TP2.
Okay, thank you.
Right, you're welcome. Or you could just safely take it one order to the 382 and say, you know what, I'm not going to be greedy. I'm good. Right, especially on these 5-minute setup, because you see how fast they come around. Right, the fib sequence cycles through on your 5-minute chart and your lower time frame charts a lot faster than those larger swings. Okay, so if you get out on TP1, right, and Orion, right, for the most part, take it to TP1, he's out, and then whatever it's going to do. So if this trade decided to say, you know what, it gets to the 61.8 and it gets short, okay, if you're only playing 80-20s, those counter trend trade setups, then you know what, if it wants to get short here, then if you don't trade those, let it run to the D, because then guess what, it's going to give you a new fib anyway, and then you'll be looking for the next setup for the counter trend move, right? Or if it continues to move up and takes out this A here, then guess what? It's going to give you a new AB boundary, and you're going to be looking to play the counter move back down anyway. You get what I'm saying? So
yes,
boom, back down to the 382. So it becomes an amazing game, right? You just let the smart fit do what it's going to do. like that, so if this is your move, which, after the years of trading and going and taking the losses and the ebbs and flows of the market and really seeing and building the data points out, I love this move, right? That move out of that 118, 127, that 80-20, I love it, right? Because it's giving me, in this case, an extreme low price to buy, right? And in this case, right, an extreme high price to sell. At least that's how I look at it. Ryan, what do you think? I don't know anybody. I like it, especially on this 5-minute chart. The more I do it,
I love it. And you and I have been talking a lot about this, and it's taken me a minute to fully adjust to the 5-minute time frame. But just like everything else, the more you do it, the better you become. And things ultimately start to slow down for you and you're able to see it. And I mean, it said that 118, 127 zone, it's powerful on every time frame, but this time frame here, we're looking at those shorter term moves is super powerful, and it is playing out very, very, very frequently.
Do you see it playing out better in some pairs more so than others?
I don't know that it's pair specific.
No, I don't. You do, one thing that I do notice is not particularly one pair as opposed to the others. What I see is that when you get a strong fundamental event that occurs, right, you may, it can have, it's hard to tell, right, how long the impact is going to run in regards to that forceful impulsive price action. So if you traditionally, if you get right, let's right, that 80-20 setup like this. Okay. All right. So traditionally it's like that, right? You get that shallow retracement, then it'll come down to that level. When you get like a strong, like a fundamental announcement that really creates a lot of price action in the market, that gets the market moving, that's that ultimate catalyst. What I'll say is you do get where it's so strong in that direction that it won't hold. It'll just push to the extension, right? It'll push to the extension, and you might have a series of 2 or 3 of them where that price action from that occurrence is so strong that it just is shallow, and then it just pushes to the extension. It just keeps pushing there for a minute, where you won't get that correction just because it's so strong. It makes sense, right? The strength is so strong, right? You got a lot of folks in the market pushing it in that direction, so you just keep getting shallow pullbacks. It just tells you in this example that, hey, the bears are in control because of that fundamental event that occurred. So I do see it where that happens, right? And that's where, when you have, you look at your Forex factory, you look at your fundamental data points, and when you have those events like a CPI on Thursday, right? You may see, because what will happen is it'll push the market in a certain direction on a pair, and you will see all those crosses go in that direction, right? And it's almost like one of those too good to be true type events. Like, man, all of these are sitting at 118, 127. That's when, over the years, I've learned to say, proceed with caution. This is too good to be true. They're all setting up. I need to use extra confirmation. So whether it's a trend line break and a higher high and a higher low and a reversal, or using the cloud to make sure, hey, am I getting a break? Is everything aligned? Is aligning? Because that's what I noticed. Like, oh, I just got beat up because I jumped in, say, the pound crosses. All the pound crosses set up sweet off of this fundamental announcement that came out and moved the market and served as a catalyst. And I'm in, and I just jump in there, and then they all just keep running in a particular direction, and I do not get the reversal. And that's because the price action and momentum is just strong in a particular direction because of that fundamental occurrence. So that's what I've noticed over the years. So I just know to pay attention to that, but it's not related to any particular pair. It may be a particular pair on that day if that fundamental announcement is for that, whether it's monetary policy coming out of the Bank of England, the Fed, the ECB, whatnot. It has the ability to do that, like with these elections. Right, it can have the ability to do that. It cause certain pairs to just run for a while, but that's when you just be patient. Just be patient and let everything come back into sync, and let the price action figure itself out. And then you look to make the move. So that's what I've seen. But whether it's on a 5-minute, a 15-minute, a 1 hour, a 4 hour, a daily. Right, like here, okay, how we were looking at, what was it? I can't remember the pair. Here, like a Euro NZD. Like, look how that froze, right? It pushed up a little bit higher, didn't quite get to that D, but then we came back down. It's trying to seek out that 382 potentially. It doesn't matter the time frame. When that 80-20 sets up, it is on any time frame, it has my attention. Let's just say that. So it really has my attention. When compared to any other type of price action pattern that we may be able to identify, compared to any other sweet spot zone, that's my number one bread and butter. Yeah. Ryan, what do you think? You good? Same thing, kind of? Yes.
Same thing. Doesn't matter the time frame when I see it. My ears perk up and I'm looking close.
Because it puts you in good for that counter setup. It puts you in a good risk to reward ratio too, even back to that 382. You know, whether you're putting your stop right below the low coming out of that 80-20 zone, you know, or even wider, it still puts you in a favorable risk to reward just back even to that 382 target. So it's definitely grown on me over the years. You know, now if I could just continue to work on my patience and only wait for those setups, I think I'd be a certified monster in this game. In this game, but sometimes I see some stuff that's outside of that I'm just like, man, I need to take that. But if I could just continue to work on my mindset and just wait for that one setup, all right, then I think it's a goal, man, moving forward throughout the rest of my trading career. So, like I say, it'll be trade less, but with an even higher success rate, and it'll be even more profitable. So, and it's a consistent setup. Yep. Great questions, everybody. Anybody else before we wrap things up?
Hey, Benny.
Yes.
On the 5 minute, when it hits the 618, because it's like a shorter move to the D extension, does it tend to hit the D extension more than the higher time frames?
No, it just hits it faster.
Okay.
It just hits it faster. The key with anytime you're playing your 61/8s, right, is to make sure your trend direction for that particular time is right. You know what I mean? Because the first thing we always want to try to identify is our directional bias and our overall direction in the market. So it's just gonna hit it. It's just gonna hit it faster. And that's the thing. Like you tend to. It seems like that because you're playing those more frequently.
Yeah, it just looks like it's hitting it. Maybe it just looks like it's hitting it more because it's faster.
Yeah. It's just a fast move. Whereas if you trade a 61L for 4 hours, that thing can run for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So you don't get to see it hit that D extension as frequently. But the percentages are similar, just like these 80-20s. Yeah. But they're nice setups. Even like I said, even on the 15, we try to spend time throughout the year on each time frame, because we know we have different traders from all walks of life, all over the world, all walks of life. People trade differently, and we just want to show everybody that, hey, it doesn't matter the time frame, you can utilize this approach no matter what. So, but yeah. And once you frame it out with the fibs on the 5 minute or the one, like Ryan said, it doesn't move as fast as you think. Right? It doesn't move as fast as you think, because it's not just a 5 pip move or a 10 pip move. You can see that these targets are still pretty decent targets, right? In regards to the amount of pips that you're looking to capture. So, yeah, good stuff. Ryan, anything to add before we close out?
Great session, bro. No, nothing to add, man. See you guys in the morning, 6:30 a.m.
All right. Hey, everybody, thank you for your time. Know we're over. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We really appreciate you. And like Ryan said, we'll see you tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the free New York session. Continue to be patient. Don't be so jumpy, as we know that we've got elections here in the United States. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. You're welcome.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.